Alright guys, so unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably seen the latest controversy around Diablo 4 and the race to level 100 on hardcore characters. There's a lot to unpack here, so sit down, relax, and enjoy the video. So Diablo 4 recently announced on Twitter that they are going to have a race to level 100 for hardcore characters. Now in this, if you are one of the first 1,000 people to hit level 100 on a hardcore character, you get your name sort of engraved on a plaque, statue sort of thing. I'm not really wanting to look too much into the rewards for this. If you're curious and you want to participate in the race, there's tons of places online that you can look up and try to figure out everything you need to know about how to participate. What I want to talk about today is sort of what happened after this challenge was put forth to the community. When the challenge was issued, there was a lot of fanfare around it, and I do think there was a fair amount of hype for people who wanted to participate. But around the same time that this contest was announced, it was also brought to light that some of the major content creators had been given a press issue of the game and were allowed to play the full game over the past week or so. That way they could get their quote-unquote reviews ready for the game. But what seemed to irritate most people was the fact that these content creators were not excluded from the race. And they felt that the race to 100 was already tainted because people had unlimited access just a week or so ago. People seem to think that because content creators had access to the game so close to when the game launched, that they will have an unfair advantage, and most of the limited 1,000 people, or at least the top people, will all be content creators. This has also led to sort of some speculation that this was just a marketing push to try to get people to also buy editions above standard, because that would give you an extra 4 days to sort of work on trying to reach this level 100, and calls into question a sort of pay-to-win aspect. You get 4 days early access into the game. There are no leaderboards, but now they have created a contest, and if you pay the extra money, you get into the contest 4 days early. On top of that, one of the things that seemed to outrage people was Rod Ferguson's tweet sort of dismissing the fact that people were able to play early, insisting that because they had lost all their progress and they'd lost their characters, that everybody was starting on sort of an equal slate, or in his words, how does deleting their progress give them an unfair advantage, to paraphrase. And I feel like this showed a little bit of a disconnect, and that disconnect is starting to shake some people's confidence who have been staunch advocates of the game, no matter what has happened with other Blizzard IPs. Now, whether you like or hate, respect or disrespect some of the top content creators for Diablo in general, it does seem that the Max Roll team themselves have all opted to sort of back away from the Race to 100 hardcore challenge. Now, it's not to say they're not going to push to see if they're world's first, but they will not accept any of the slots available on the statue. Now, I think that this is a good step for their team and shows a lot of integrity. Because so many members of their team got early access, it makes sense that they want to sort of uphold the highest standards of integrity for themselves, and speaks a lot to them and Max Roll as a organization. The question then becomes, who, if anyone else, should step down from the race? If you insist on the race taking place from the launch of the game up until it's completed, are there other people that should be excluded from being able to even participate? So there are people who think that the Max Roll team stepping back is a great thing, but there are also other people that think that it really doesn't matter and they should be allowed to sort of participate. Those people also point out the early beta testers who were able to play the game in its entirety up through the end game that actually had more access than the Max Roll team. The flip side of that coin would be that those players played on a previous build of the game, and that it's not necessarily a one-for-one, their previous experience to the current game state. Other people have went so far to say that anybody that has beta tested the game should be excluded because they have an unfair advantage at least through the first 20 to 25 levels. But whether you feel like it's a witch hunt or not, this is actually a wound that is self-inflicted by the team at Diablo 4. One of the easiest fixes for this entire problem would actually be to move the entire competition from the day the game launches to the beginning of Season 1. This would ensure that everybody has had equal time to play the game, theory craft, and have fun with it that wants to participate in the race to hardcore level 100. While I do think it's admirable that the Max Roll team and several other individuals have put themselves forward to say they won't participate in the race, these are established members of the Diablo community that are now being punished basically due to their success. And I'm sure that while some of them stepped down, there are members on the Max Roll team that were looking forward to trying to participate in this and claim the official spot and any accolades that come with that. Blizzard's team should reevaluate when the race starts. There's still time, the game hasn't released yet. If they were to put out a presser saying, hey, we realized that we had made a misjudgment, we want to involve all of the community, not just those that buy the game early, not just those who have had advanced copies, not just those who have beta tested for us, but everybody. And we want everybody to feel like they have a fair shot at this first 1,000 on the trophy. Because of that, we're going to move the entire race to Season 1. I think if they were to come out and say that, that would sort of garner a lot of goodwill and would pretty much knock all of these complaints to the wayside. Now, whether Diablo 4's team decides to keep the start date where it's at or push it out to Season 1 is entirely up to them. But I think if they want to garner goodwill with the community, they will push the start date out until Season 1. This would ensure everybody got a fair shake and would get rid of any criticism that could be levied against them and would make them look good in most of all the players' eyes. Honestly, most people will never hit this achievement, as it will probably be a lot of grinders, no-lifers, and streamers. Your average Joe will not see this, but it'll at least give everybody a fair shot in case they want to try to make this dream a reality. But let me know what you think down in the comments, what you think should happen, and what you think of people sort of stepping away. Thank you for your time, and as always, have a great day.